Oh, does that make you want to cruise or what, guys?
Absolutely.
Most
Look at
definitely.
that.
Beautiful.
I know we were just watching some of those things, especially that cocktail coming at Good Spirits at Sea there. We're thinking, oh, we could just do with one of those.
How did you know that was my most favoritist venue?
Right. And that was Elliot from Southampton, believe it or not. The bartender.
Really?
Wow.
And I'm going to reach behind my camera because I can see I got like super bright while all that was going on. So, folks, excuse me for just a second. I'm going to welcome you all to Cruise Chat Live while I reach back there. There we go. Welcome to Cruise Chat Live, everybody. If you're new to the channel, I am Walter, your independent travel advisor with Where's Walter Travel. I am so thankful, and I love the technology allows us to do this. We've got Tom and Dom Travel all the way from across the pond. How you guys doing?
Yes, great. Thank you very much. Although it's certainly not as warm as it is there with you in Florida. Walter.
I was gonna ask. Why aren't you guys outside showing us a lovely spring day?
We did plan to host this live outside in the garden, but unfortunately, it's around about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just a little bit too cold, and it's raining.
Well,
so unfortunately, we're indoors.
We're indoors, yeah.
So next time you guys have to do the live with me here. Just come on here. As you can see, it's about 90 degrees already in Orlando.
We shall take you up on that, no problem.
100%. No quibbles.
Well, folks, I'll remind you that we are an independent travel advisor, so if we can help you in any way with your travels, just reach out. Where's WalterTravel.com. We do cruise, land, luxury, and expedition. All right, first of all, why don't you, for my subscribers who have never seen you guys and maybe don't know what you're all about, why don't you give us a little background on who you are and what you all do?
Yes, so we are Tom and Dom. So I'm Tom.
I'm Dom.
And we're over here in the UK, specifically in Wales. And we do cruise vlogging, mostly out of the UK and in Europe, but lots of other places as well, I think. So you'll find us all over the world.
That's awesome. And we did talk a couple of days ago, and Tom and Dom, you both have interesting jobs, especially Tom. I love your who you work for. Can you tell everybody about that?
I will. I work for a charity that is headed by the King, formerly Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, and it's a specialist charity, the Prince's Trust. So very similar program to the Prince's Trust I work in. That's just Wales based and supporting people there as best I can.
That's awesome, Dom.
And my job isn't as exciting, I'm afraid. I am a secondary school teacher, so I teach children from ages 11 to 18. So,
well, cheers to our teachers.
Yeah, not as exciting as jobs. Yes, it's not the easiest of jobs.
I'm thinking,
but
Your Honor.
Thoroughly worth it.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That's it.
I do appreciate a good
It's
cup
nice
of
that
tea.
you've got tea. I've only got water. So.
Rock on. All right, guys, this is awesome. And folks, if you've got any questions, for those of you watching, if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll do our best to get to them. If we don't have the answer, we'll just make it up. But let's talk about we did talk a couple days ago. We did talk a couple days ago about your backstory. And cruising is relatively recent for us. So prior to getting in cruising, what was like your vacation of choice?
So we used to go on all-inclusive holidays, mainly across Europe, although we've both been to other places around the world as well. So we did that probably about 2-3 times a year, different resort, different country, all-inclusive style. So
yeah, we've always been interested in travel, and we tend to sort of visit these locations that are completely separate. So we wouldn't visit the same location more than once. And yeah, we never even considered cruising. We were quite happy with our beach holidays in all these exotic locations.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've always been keen on travel. It's always been one of our sort of interests, and yeah, cruising's just opened up a whole new world to us.
Wow. Hey, Sisters on the Seas just joined in from a cold and damp Birmingham.
Oh,
Pretty much the same weather as we're experiencing here. So I think, Walter, you're going to make everybody from the UK watching this live incredibly jealous.
Yeah, I could just get out of the way and just leave the camera the whole time and just let it go. And I'll give a shout out. Hey, Eric is here, Michael's here, Sue's here, Peggy is here. Hi, guys. And thank you, Sisters on the Seas, for joining in. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
So you guys did a lot of all-inclusive over there. Actually, any particular favorites that we should know about?
In terms of easy access, I think, Spain being one of the most popular British tourist destinations, just because you can pretty much get to some good, well, mainly good weather in about an hour and a half in terms of flight time.
yeah.
So Spain was definitely one of our sort of top locations. Italy, another beautiful part of the world.
We loved Italy, didn't we? We went to Lake
Garda
Garda in Italy, and we found it fantastic.
Yeah, definitely one of the places that we try and encourage most people to visit, because it is just absolutely picturesque, beautiful location.
Wow.
And just the traditional town, the people were so friendly, and the lake itself, just some absolutely beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Nigel. Hello. I love that we got UK folks joining in. And don't you love this technology? I mean, I'm sitting in Orlando, Florida. You're in Wales. We can just do this.
It is amazing. Yeah,
just bringing everybody together to talk about travel.
It's actually just how we met too. We met through YouTube and Twitter and Threads, and it's so great.
Yeah, absolutely.
YouTube, bringing people together.
I can't wait till we actually meet on a ship. That's going to be the best part.
I'm sure.
So let's talk about transition into cruising. Because you're relatively new, so how did you get into cruising?
So probably the thing that stopped everyone from cruising, the thing we don't talk about, the pandemic really, is what got us into cruising. Okay. We couldn't fly anywhere. It was quite difficult to fly out of the UK during the time when COVID was around. Lots of testing and things, but there were cruises that were leaving the UK to nowhere. Mm-hmm. And we decided to take our first cruise on the inaugural season for MSC Virtuosa, just because we couldn't fly anywhere. So just as a test to see what we could do and what cruising was like. And from then on, we've never looked back.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience because we didn't visit any ports. It was a case of we'd sail out for a little bit because of COVID. Ships weren't allowed to dock. You weren't allowed to disembark. So it was a case of we sailed around the English Channel for a bit, and then went back to Southampton. Mm-hmm. But we loved it.
And Dom, I know you and I kind of share a similar history in terms of our first cruise. How excited were you for that first cruise?
Not very excited at all. If I'm honest, I really was not looking forward to it. And if it hadn't been for Tom, who actually went through the booking process and just did it all, I most probably would never have stepped foot on a cruise ship, because I really did have negative connotations around the whole cruise experience. Because we weren't visiting anywhere, I did think, well, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? During the day, how am I going to keep myself amused and entertained? I really believed that, I'd just be sat around waiting to come home. But it wasn't like that at all. And in fact, I found myself being so busy, I couldn't fit everything I wanted to do in. Incredible experience.
Wow.
I think the most overwhelming point of the whole cruise, because we've been in lockdown, we've been in little bubbles and isolated from everybody. As soon as we'd gone through the testing, we walked up the gangway and I stepped foot into the main Galleria on Virtuoso, which is this beautiful open space. They've got this sort of video display screens all the way across the top that sort of replicate different parts of the world and different types of art. And just the buzz and the excitement, I had to sit down. I was so overwhelmed by it all, but it was just such an incredible experience.
Oh, that is absolutely lovely. And I love, that, and that's really interesting that you did a cruise to nowhere and you still enjoyed it with no ports or anything. That's amazing.
It was just the whole sort of list of activities, the level of service. There was only 1,000 passengers on board at the time, which meant we pretty much had the ship to ourselves, which it's an incredible experience now looking back on it. I don't think we genuinely appreciated the value of that cruise until cruising sort of got back into full swing. And we were a little bit apprehensive going on our first cruise ship that was fully booked, because you know, we'd had this fantastic experience, fantastic levels of service, food, you know, we didn't have to wait, you know, no problems in finding seats and things like that. So we really did think, oh, on a full jam-packed cruise, is it going to sort of taint our experience? But we were really pleasantly surprised that sort of the level of service sort of transferred over with it. And I think our first fully booked cruise, or full capacity cruise, was oh, it was a little thumbs up.
I have no idea how we do that, but thank you.
Oh, there's somebody telling me to be quiet then. Our first cruise was Sky Princess out of Southampton. It was full capacity. So 3,200, and yeah, we were a little bit apprehensive, but we had a fantastic time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's absolutely, you know, my first cruise, I've told the story before, but it was our 10th wedding anniversary, and Rebecca booked it. And at first I was excited, and then I was like, no, I'm not going. And so she basically said, well, I'm going, so you can go with me or you can't. I stomped my feet, and fine, let's go get on this stupid Caribbean Princess. And like 2 days into it, we booked a couple more cruises. So
it's definitely addictive. It's a fantastic way to see the world.
It is.
And, you know, we've never looked back, really.
That's awesome. Hey, Emily, how are you? Emily is coming over shortly for a cruise on the beautiful Valiant Lady, and she's coming over to Disney World. Hey.
Oh. Yes. Wow, what a way to combine two things, two fantastic things together.
Sisters on the Seas. That's a great question, especially since you converted on your first year. You became one of us, Don. You know, pulled you in.
Yes.
What is your favorite thing about cruising?
Yeah, probably for me, the best thing that I love about cruising is getting to see so many places in one trip, I suppose. So you can turn up somewhere each day, experience something different, experience different cultures. I just love being able to be basically in a hotel that moves, really, isn't it? So just somewhere new every day. That's the best thing for me.
It's an experience that you can't get through other types of holiday. You know, yeah, you do get a little bit of a snippet of, you know, one particular culture, place, or location, but then that just gives you a little bit of inspiration to perhaps visit again. You know, we've been to a number of ports a couple of times actually, and we've always found something else to do. There's always something more that we want to experience next time we visit. So it definitely is one of the sort of key benefits of cruising, the fact that you've got all of these fantastic destinations that you can just keep visiting, find something unique and different every single time.
Yeah, and for me,
you know, for me, what's my favorite thing about cruising? I am a massive foodie. I love all types of food. I thoroughly enjoy every single cruise I go on, and I make the most of the culinary delights that are available to me. Yeah, definitely. One of my highlights is the fact that the quality of the food on cruise lines is superb, and it's just a little treat, because a lot of our viewers that sort of follow us and watch us, you know, they do make a little bit of a joke and a little bit of a gag out of the fact that, you know, we're always eating. But to me, that's part of cruising. And, you know, we don't eat like that when we're back at home. We're a little bit more reserved. However, on cruise ships, we really do make the most of it. And I think most people do.
Yeah. And what did it for me was when I realized, it was like the first night or second day, I realized, like, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to get in a car. I don't have to do anything. I'm being taken care of 24/7. It really dawned on me that I'm not in a hotel, then I have to go to the theater and then come back. And then I have to go to a restaurant and then come back. It's like literally just walk to these things.
Yeah.
And
this is a conversation we've had with a lot of people who want to do solo cruising, because it's just so convenient and so safe. If you want to be a solo cruiser by yourself, it means you can go straight back to your cabin and you can be straight to a bar and not have to worry about anything else. Get back, getting a taxi, whatever it may be.
And I like the community feel on a cruise ship, especially if you're on a longer cruise. You do actually get to meet some fantastic people, and we've met some great friends that we're still in contact with now that we've cruised with in the past.
That is the
I
best.
do love it.
That is the best when you get to meet up with them. And I love meeting the crew. I love finding out their stories. I love finding out things about them. Like Elliot, who you commented on, he was my best friend on that cruise. Let me tell you that one. Yeah. And I'm going to fix this again.
Wow.
I got really bright.
Amazing.
Why do I keep getting so bright, everybody? I'm so sorry. Maybe I have a glow about me. The camera one more time. There we go. I apologize for getting up during that. But thank you, Sisters on the Seas, for the question. Really do appreciate it. If anybody else got some questions, we'll try our best. So as of right now, how many cruises have we done?
I think we're on 13 cruises.
13.
So
Okay.
In 3 years.
in 3 years.
In 3 years. Oh, that's good. You guys are doing good.
Yeah, I think after MSC Virtuosa, we then booked on to go on another cruise line a month later.
Yeah.
Just to experience what they had to offer, and again had a fantastic experience. So yeah, we are doing quite a lot of cruises, but it's because we love it. Absolutely love it.
We love it, and we still have not been on the same cruise ship twice.
No.
So
That's fantastic.
every cruise we go on is something different, and I think that makes it exciting.
I think the closest double was when we did Sky Princess for 14 nights, and then we did Enchanted Princess for 14 nights. And I quite enjoyed the similarities of both of those vessels, because getting on Enchanted was as if we'd never we knew exactly where we were going. We knew where the location of our stateroom was, where the buffet, main dining rooms, and that familiarity. We quite enjoyed that instead of it being it's very similar ship. But no, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's almost like coming home. I mean, that's one of the things that Virgin Voyages did on purpose. They basically built all 4 ships identical, so that once you go on one, it's kind of like coming home. I absolutely love this question. I was going to get to something similar anyway later, but I love this question. If you could try, first of all, Sail Away Magazine, they don't have to persuade me to do anything. I will go on all of these cruise lines, but I'm curious. There are 350 cruise ships out there, and if I could, I would sail every last one of them at some point. But this is a great question. If I was asking you guys, okay, I'm going to take a British cruise tomorrow, Ambassador, P&O, or Marella, and why?
Oh, difficult question, but very interesting. I think you're going to get a completely different experience to perhaps a US-based cruise line on a British cruise line. Now, we have done all 3 of those, haven't we? We've done Ambassador, we've done P&O and Marella. All 3 offer something different, but also have similarities. I don't know what's the best thing. Probably we do like traditional British things like afternoon tea and things like that. So you'd definitely be able to enjoy those. We had a great afternoon tea on P&O, didn't we? So yeah, that's great. And I suppose it'll be a different experience tipping wise and with gratuities and things like that, because on most British cruise lines they would all be included in the price that you pay, so you wouldn't have to worry about gratuities at all when you're on the ship.
So yeah, it's a tricky one, because each one of those British cruise lines does offer something different. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed the Ambassador experience, which was a little bit more classic. Their entertainment was good. Their food was good. P&O are a little bit more established. Their fly cruise destinations are quite interesting. They often do, return itineraries to the fjords, to the Canary Islands, and to the Mediterranean and Croatia. And again, their entertainment, their production shows are good. The food's good. The specialities on P&O are very, very good in terms of value for money. We've publicly said that in terms of the price for the specialities such as the steakhouse and the curry house on board, incredibly reasonable. Marella is just fun.
Yeah,
it's good. Food's good. the entertainment's good, but just the whole atmosphere and party vibes of Morella, it's just fun. There's always something going on. So it's quite tricky.
Yeah, and all three of those have got slightly different size ships as well. So Ambassador's the smallest and the newest cruise line. That's only been around about 3 years now. Wow. And they've only got 2 ships. Morella have got 5 ships. 5 ships now. And P&O have got some of the biggest ships. So they've got a ship called Iona and a ship called Arvia, and they're XL class. So same size as the Carnival, Mardi Gras. That type of size, isn't it?
So if Walter, for you, I think it'd be a tricky one.
Come on now, we got 3 here. We got 3 good ones. Come on, if you got to pick one, Dom, just one.
Out of the 3, I would probably say Ambassador.
I like Ambassador. It's classic. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, try something new.
Yeah.
I tell you, watching your vlog on it, I would probably, I knew nothing about Ambassador. I would probably try it. Originally, it would have been P&O, but now, after seeing your vlog, I want to try Ambassador.
Ambassador would take you to a lot of British ports. So if you wanted to see the UK, Ambassador's a great one to choose.
Yeah, they do a good British cruise itinerary, and they do it a few times a year. And you'll visit ports in the British Isles, including Ireland, and a little bit of France and the Channel Islands as well. So you do get a really good sort of mix of locations. Yes, thoroughly enjoyed our cruise on there. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Sail Away Magazine, for the question. Appreciate it. That's actually something we were going to talk about anyway, was comparing and contrasting, because one of the things that you already brought up. So when you price and pay for a cruise on a British cruise line, you already have the gratuities rolled in, whereas over here in the States, I can either put them in or not put them in. I mean, the port fees and taxes are there, but and we were talking a little bit about that, and also how the tipping culture is a little bit different in Europe. So for like Americans, like even like myself, I have not been across the pond yet. Why don't you talk a little bit about gratuities, tipping, and how that all works, or maybe how it's different?
So in terms of daily gratuities, I think Cunard and Ambassador do charge a daily gratuity, but then you've got the likes of P&O and Morella, as well as MSC. If you book MSC in the United Kingdom to sail from the UK, they tend to package all of your daily gratuities into the price that you pay. Exactly the same to P&O and Morella. So pretty much there's no additional charges. There's no, you're not going to be hit with any daily surprises of, I know, $14 per person per state room. It just makes, I suppose, cruising a little bit more relaxed, because I don't know about you, but I'm terrible. I'm constantly checking how much we've spent because it's just accessible now that they've got the apps available, and you can just download them, install them on your phone. You can check your onboard spend, and I think you can become a little bit, I'll just check that. Oh yeah, that's gone on, that's fine. And I suppose with the daily gratuities, if they've already rolled in, you can just go on there and you don't have to worry about that. The fab thing about Morella is they tend to do, they are all-inclusive cruises. So with a Morella cruise in the UK, you can go on that cruise line, not spend any more additional money, and just get off at the end of your cruise without having spent anything extra than the original price that you paid for the cruise, which is fantastic, really.
Yeah. And I think coming from the UK, we have a bit of tipping anxiety when we're on the US base lines and things like that. We don't know how much to tip, and we panic then that we're going to get chased or something. You should be tipping more or less, or I don't know what we should be doing.
It's completely foreign to us. Completely foreign to us. We don't tip in restaurants. Well, you do occasionally tip in a restaurant for a sit down,
but it's not expected.
No, it's not. You don't have to do it, but you can do it.
Yeah. So
a little extra.
Interesting. So like even like an individual.
However,
go ahead. Sorry.
No. Individual servers you can give 10-20% of the bill, and sometimes it is, I suppose it is becoming slightly more common where it's added onto your bill. In terms of cruise ships, and the daily gratuities tend to be packed in, we will always, especially our cabin stewards, because they work so hard, to make sure, don't they? They are one of the hardest working people on a cruise ship,
Yeah.
making sure that all of the cabins that are assigned to them are just pristine. We will always tip our cabin steward, regardless of what line we're on, because they are fantastic. If you need something, they'll go. If you need something changed, they'll do it. No questions asked. So we always tip addition. We always give our cabin stewards an additional tip. No questions.
Gotcha.
Because they're just amazing.
Gotcha. And kind of a follow-up, and Sail Away Magazine, I love that. We'll get to that in a minute. So Eric is one of my great clients. He's out in Los Angeles. He is coming over to Europe. So what is the tipping culture in Europe, or does it differ from, that's actually a great question. Does it differ country to country?
Yes, so if you're coming to the UK, very, very rarely would you tip. And if you do tip, it'll be a very small amount. And for example, if you're in a restaurant, if you're in an upmarket restaurant, you probably would tip. If you're in a cafe or something like that, it's very rare that you would tip anything like that. But some countries in Europe, particularly Spain, you would perhaps leave €1, and that's all that would be expected. They wouldn't be expecting percentages and 20% type tip. They don't work like that. Just a gratitude, something for gratitude.
Yeah.
€1 would be fine there.
So even a bar, if you're ordering a drink, there wouldn't be an expectation to tip for that.
Okay, great.
So it is slightly different.
All right, thank you.
But we tend to, if we're buying a couple of coffees and it's €4.20, we'll leave the change. So 80 cents. It's not an expectation. It's just a little, you keep the change sort of tip.
Gotcha. And Eric is in Las Vegas, by the way. I said California. I'm sorry, Eric. It's hard for me to keep up. And by the way, there's a place you guys got to go. Oh my God. Your mind will be blown when you go to Las Vegas. It's such a fun town.
I think we'd love it in Vegas.
I'd love to experience Vegas. I think it's a bucket list destination for a lot of people, just to experience it. We're not big gamblers, but I just think, to sort of experience the buzz and the I suppose the life and the energy of the city.
And maybe we need a chat with Eric before we go to Vegas about the tipping culture there.
Eric is a hoot. I can put you guys in touch. He is an absolute. I mean, you already mentioned food and you love entertainment. Those are the two reasons to go to Las Vegas. You don't have to play at all. There's some amazing food, amazing shows out there.
I know we've seen some of the shows, and I think you get all the top stars in Vegas, don't you? So we'd love to go.
Absolutely.
Do. And you can now tie it in. Well, you will soon. You'll be able to tie it in with a West Coast cruise. So like if you wanted to go to the West Coast, maybe do a Mexican Riviera or go to Hawaii, Brightline just broke ground on their new train. So it's going to be like an hour and a half train from Los Angeles straight to Las Vegas.
Okay.
That's going to make it very convenient.
See? Yeah. Look at this. You have an invite already. Eric will show you around. And I would take him up on it. He is I love talking to him. And what's funny, I went there for like 20 years straight for a convention, so I could probably pretty much show you around over there as well.
So tour guide.
Now, what's interesting about over there is, hey, Nurse Tara, how are you? I'm going to get to Sail Away. I'm going to get to your question on the Queen Anne momentarily, but I want to ask you guys about Costa and MSC in particular, because here in the States, you get on in the home port, say Port Canaveral, you come back to that home port, Port Canaveral. You don't get on in the middle of the cruise. You don't get off in the middle of the cruise. But both MSC and Costa run something very interesting over there that, for lack of a better term, is a hop-on, hop-off cruise. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is very much like being catching a ferry, I suppose, because you can get on and get off at each port that you stop at, so that we have passengers embarking and disembarking at different ports. So you could do a one-night cruise if you wanted to, and that would be no problem at all just to do one night. You could do 2 nights, 5 nights, 7 nights, whatever pleases you, and you can get on and so you can start your cruise and finish your cruise at different ports without a problem as well. So it's completely different, but it does change the feel of the ship. So you probably lose a little bit of that community that you get if you're all starting and finishing your cruise from the same port there then.
Yeah, and every day is like a disembarkation day. Even though you're not disembarking, you'll head back to your stateroom, and there'll be cases, put out, and you're getting ready to be picked up. So it can change the feel of it, of the whole cruise as well. And it also makes a difference if the ship can't dock. So due to bad weather. So instead of just cancelling a port and just making their way to the ship making its way to the next destination, because they've got so many people that are disembarking, leaving their cruise and embarking. The logistics of that makes it incredibly difficult. On our Costa cruise that we did, unfortunately, we couldn't get into a number of ports because there was a storm. So what tended to happen was we'd either wait outside or just outside the port until the port gave the ship clearance to go in, or we had to sort of sail a few miles up the coast to a smaller port just so that the passengers could disembark and then be bussed back to the initial port. So it does make things a little bit interesting.
I never thought about that.
Well, neither did we. It was fascinating for us, really, because it's something that you just don't really consider. But they can't just skip a port and move on.
No, you can't add an additional sea day if you want to, because people are waiting to disembark. They're waiting to get off. So it does make things different. Plus, I suppose with MSC and Costa, there's multiple languages on board, and that's something you have to factor in. That yes, they do accommodate English speakers very easily, and often English is the predominant language on board. But there could be up to 5-6 different languages being spoken at any time, so you have to be aware of that before you get on board, just because it can be quite onerous. The announcements and the different things that they say can take a while, should we say.
It does take a little bit of time to get through a small announcement, but having to repeat that in 6 different languages. I suppose you've got to go on Costa or MSC from a European port or European starting point with that in mind, because there's no getting away from it. The other thing on Costa that really surprised us was the fact that the crew on board's primary language is English. Even though Costa MSC are Italian cruise lines, the crew converse in English. They are so happy to speak to you in English. It's incredible. So a lot of people have got this sort of apprehension that they're going to find it difficult to communicate with the staff on board. However, that was just not our experience at all. It was incredibly easy.
No, and you do have to embrace a different culture when you're on board Costa. Particularly, we found that everything was much later, so much European style, so Southern European style, so Mediterranean. Particularly the timings of things. So we went for our dinner around 7 p.m. most nights, and the ship was very, very quiet.
Very quiet.
People weren't really coming out of their cabin and leaving until about 9 p.m. That was the start of their night. We were there over Halloween, and the kids' Halloween disco started 11 p.m. And then the adults' entertainment started at 1 a.m. So you can see everything is much later in the evening.
It was a great cruise. We thoroughly enjoyed it, but we were exhausted coming off.
Because everything was so late. That's hilarious. So, I mean, does it take away from, I'm just kind of curious, does it kind of take away from the enjoyment having essentially an embarkation and disembarkation almost every day?
It's different. I wouldn't say we enjoyed it any less at all,
because we weren't getting off. We'd just be like, "Oh, that'll be us in a couple of days," or "I hope they've had a good cruise." And I suppose you just get used to it. After days on board, you're just used to. There's some cases are going to be outside their cabins tonight. Larger destinations, larger ports, obviously more people would get off. So in the evening, it'd be a little bit quieter, because everybody's gone to bed a little bit earlier, because obviously they have to get off in the morning. So the busyness of the ship came in waves,
Gotcha.
which is quite
Interesting.
yeah.
It's interesting. And Mary Ann makes a point in the comments too that you can get off the ships here in the States, but it involved a lot of paperwork. Nobody just sets it up that way, that you can just hop on, hop off, you know, essentially, which would be amazing. Now let's get back up to sail, because I'm incredibly jealous where you guys are going. You guys are going to be getting on the Queen Anne. Are you visiting the Queen Anne or sailing the Queen Anne?
Visiting, well, we'll be on overnight. Well, I will be. Unfortunately, Don's not coming.
Unfortunately, can't get the time off.
Perks of being a teacher.
Oh, my goodness. But yeah, why don't you tell us about that? So the Queen Anne, brand new.
So Queen Anne, absolutely brand new. It hasn't arrived in Southampton yet. So she's coming from, well, being built, I suppose, just finished being built. At the shipyard, and she's on her way to Southampton right now. And I will be joining Queen Anne on Tuesday, just for one day visit, really, overnight. I'm really looking forward to it before she sets sail on her maiden voyage on the 3rd of May. So,
wow. And what?
It's a very, very fortunate, very lucky.
Yeah, well, you guys are great. I mean, it's so awesome to see you guys being invited onto various ships. You were recently on Holland America too, which was awesome.
Yes, and they're interesting. Both of those, we were on New Staterdam. So, New Staterdam and Queen Anne are both the similar class of ship. So it'd be very interesting to compare the two and see what Cunard has done to that pinnacle class of ship that was different to Holland America.
In terms of Queen Anne, it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting to compare, because we've sailed on QM2 before. You know, we've had, you know, Queen Mary 2. We've had the Cunard experience. With Queen Anne, they've gone a little bit more modern, shall we say, in some of the venues and some of the activities and things on board. So it'd be interesting to see if it still holds that Cunard experience that people sort of love. And I think that'll be make or break, I think, for Queen Anne. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they've sort of diversified a little bit too much, which may be off potential Cunard passengers. It will be interesting.
So some of that Cunard experience.
Cunard brand Cunard experience.
Yeah.
Will they be able to sort of follow that through on this next gen ship?
Gotcha. Yeah, so my plan is to come over. I want to do the QM2 from New York, come on over, maybe do a river cruise, maybe do something else. And then if we time it right, take a ship back as well. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that would be an amazing experience. So yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah. Another great question from Sisters of the Seas. So which cruise line have you not gone on yet? I mean, of the 60 others that are out there, not counting the river ships. But is there something like on your radar? Oh man, we really got to try that cruise line.
Yeah. So after our little taster of Hull last weekend, and I was impressed. I just loved the finer little finishings. And it's going to sound silly, but I am a stickler for wine glasses. Wine glasses, they have to be correct.
Yeah.
And Hal it was from start to finish, it was just seamless. The furnishings, the cutlery, the food, the wine glass, it was just an incredible experience. And I just thought, oh yeah, this is a level of service I could get used to. Equally though, I would love to try Norwegian, because we haven't sailed with Norwegian yet. And it's just, Norwegian Viva, one of their sort of larger, newer ships. I really want to see what that's like.
Yeah.
We had an experience of them when we were in Reykjavik. No, was it Reykjavik or Akureyri with Island Princess? And Norwegian Viva had docked in the same port, Akureyri, as us. And we were just walking past Norwegian Viva into town, and the music was blaring. They were all dancing and singing on the dock side as passengers were coming off. It just seemed like a really great experience that we haven't done before.
I might want to try them, but I'd go much more premium. I'd go Regent or something like Seabourn. Or
I wouldn't say no to either of them either.
We stick to them, Dom.
Yeah, Holland America is they get a reputation for being an old person's cruise line, but they are a lovely, lovely cruise line. And one of the reasons why they do skew older is because they have longer itineraries. So those are the people who are going on them. But like, for example, we can do a Voyage of the Viking from Boston. It's a 35-day round trip, but we get to come all the way over to you guys and come all the way back in one ship. It's really nice.
And does that one include a stop in Greenland?
Yes.
I would. That was our favourite cruise port that we've ever been to.
Really?
Well, we visited Greenland, and I would recommend anyone if they can get on a cruise to Greenland to do that.
Wow, it always reminds me of The Princess Bride when I hear Greenland.
Yeah.
In the movie. So, hey Betty, hi, how are you? Thank you, Sisters on the Seas, for that question. All right, so we talked about gratuities. Oh, here's it's funny, even think as a travel advisor, I would know this one, but I don't. So here in the U.S., the Caribbean is like the place, right? Everybody gets on a ship. We're going to the Caribbean. We're going to the Caribbean. What is it in England and or Europe? What is like? Okay, that's the destination where everybody goes to.
So if you cruise out to Southampton, there's 3 main cruise destinations, really. The first one would be the fjords. Absolutely stunning. Wow. One of the most beautiful places in the world you can cruise to, which is in easy reach. You can easily do a short hop cruise to the fjords. Okay. The second is Northern Europe. So you could do the Netherlands, France, Germany. We've done it on a 3-day cruise, on a 5-day cruise. Very easy to do. And then finally, probably France and Spain. You can get down to Spain, maybe Portugal as well in a week. So there's lots of opportunities to see a lot of different countries on a short hop cruise, really.
And if you're looking at sort of 14 nights, you can go obviously a little bit further into the Mediterranean, around Italy and southern France. And back again all within 2 weeks, and they are incredibly popular cruise destinations.
Wow.
The vast majority of cruises from Southampton will be, especially 14 nights, will be either to the Canaries or into the Western Mediterranean through the Strait of Gibraltar, because it is accessible. But the fjords is beautiful. Wow. Absolutely, it's just draw drop in.
Oh, I can't wait. In fact, Betty, who just tuned in, she's going to the fjords soon, like next year, I think.
Is she going to Flam? That's our favorite destination in Norway. Flam, a beautiful part of the world, just picturesque. Wow. And we did our favorite excursion in Flam, which wasn't the Flam train.
No,
not by any means. We hired an electric car. They allow you to hire them just outside of the cruise port, just opposite, not a short walk from the train station. Yeah. You can hire a little electric vehicle. It's got a tiny little satellite navigation system that will direct you and give you verbal instructions on where to go. And you can just take this small little car and whiz all the way up the side of the fjords to some beautiful vantage points. Incredible experience, and we do it again in a heartbeat.
Absolutely, one of our best things we've done.
We just laughed the entire time because the roads are so narrow, and you're in this little tiny car, and you're trying to avoid all these camper vans and do you call them SUVs? Camper vans? It's just an incredible experience, and we just laughed from start to finish. And I think it was so reasonable. It was only around about £120, so $140 for 3 hours. It was incredibly good value for money. And the people in Flam, beautiful people, so friendly, so welcoming. They sang, they cheered, they danced. One of our best destinations.
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you for that. So Betty, maybe you're gonna have to go check out their channel. And by the way, for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor with Where's Walter Travel. We book cruises, land, luxury, and expedition. Be sure to follow, like, and share, and also be sure to follow Tom and Dom at Tom and Dom Travel. One of the things that really attracted me to you guys was you have such a straightforward delivery. There's, you know, even me when I'm doing some of my videos, sometimes I'm a little but you guys are just pretty much, you know, here it is. This is what's happening, and I feel like I'm on the cruise with you guys. Is what I feel like.
I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you very much.
We do. I think the whole inspiration for YouTube and for the way in which we sort of put our videos out is, you know, we're new to cruise. We've only been cruising for 3 years, and the tips and the pieces of information that we want to convey will make people's cruises, well, we hope, better. Because, you know, like me, I think back to MSC Virtuosa, my first cruise, I didn't really have a clue. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to order a drink. I didn't know how the buffet worked. I didn't know how the main dining room worked. I didn't know how turn down or what turn down service was. And there's just as much, it is a great way to see the world. But there's lots of little bits of little nuggets of information.
Sometimes things go wrong, but you learn from our mistakes.
You do.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's perfect. We're not perfect.
No.
We do make a few mistakes.
No, and no cruise is perfect. You know, we tell everybody, you know, you got to go with the flow, because you never know what's going to happen once you get on the ship.
No.
And by the way, Betty is on a cruise line that you definitely want to check out. Betty's going to be on the Celebrity Apex. You guys need to get yourselves on Celebrity for sure.
Yes, Celebrity Apex. Yeah, it's going to be the first time that an Edge class ship has been out of the UK doing a season. Because previously we had Celebrity Silhouette coming out of here every summer. So it'd be nice to see Apex and an Edge class ship coming out of the UK this year.
It's going to be really, really nice. Yeah. So, and speaking of that, what to you guys, when you're planning, what is more important, the ship or the itinerary?
We really look at a mix of both. Now, ideally, we don't like we said before, we don't like to do the same ship twice. But I think we're getting more and more adventurous with our itineraries. So we'd like to do more things. We'd definitely like to get over to your side of the pond, Walter, a little bit more now over in the next couple of years, because we've done a lot of cruises that we can do locally. So we'd probably end up repeating a lot of ports if we stayed out of Southampton. So I think we'll start looking at destinations that are further away from us now.
Absolutely, it is a tricky question. If there's a cruise ship that we haven't been on and we're desperate to get on there and experience it, then perhaps we'll make a few little adjustments to our priority list. The ports, they are important. The destination is really important because it can make your cruise, especially if you see some wonders like we did when we were visiting Greenland. These are memories that you're going to take away with you for a very, very long time. So it is a mix. I think we're quite balanced in terms of new cruise line destinations, new ship, and I suppose if a ship that we had previously been on was doing this perfect, amazing itinerary, we wouldn't say no.
No, we wouldn't say no at all.
So it all depends on where the ship is going and what, I suppose it is a bit of both. It has to be.
I'm gonna throw one out there to you and anybody else watching, an absolute bucket list cruising, because you guys are already on that side of the pond. Hurtigruten Expeditions, or actually it's Hurtigruten Coastal that actually does this one. They do a 17-day follow the Northern Lights. It's land and sea. That's amazing. You stay in the Igloo Hotel, you do the dog sled, you go to Santa's Village. Yeah. You guys need to do this. I want to see you guys vlog that one.
Yes, that would.
That'd be great. There's one thing I know. There's one thing I'd love to see, and that's snow on the deck of a cruise ship. And I think with the Northern Lights cruise, you'd pretty well, depending on what time of year you went, you might have 3 feet of snow on the pool deck. I just think that'd be an incredible experience, making a snowman on a pool deck.
Right. You can come sail out of New York in the wintertime. You might get that.
Of course.
Yeah. We've had that. We've had plenty of video of people making snowmen on ships that they go into or come out of New York.
Yeah.
I think the closest we had is when we were on Ambassador and it hailed.
Oh, ow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ow. Indeed. They were like that.
Oh my gosh. I love this. This is so funny.
Suppose you can all the way.
What's the other thing you don't like on a cruise ship besides the pesky wine glasses?
Wine glasses.
We're not, well, I don't, are we that picky? Yeah.
So what, is there anything else that you don't, and I guess it depends on the cruise line too, because different cruise lines have, look, anybody watching this, there's no cruise line that's perfect. Every cruise line is amazing. Every cruise line is annoying. So are there any particular things that maybe stand out that you don't like on a particular ship or a line?
I suppose it's, we did have, there was one thing on our, because over New Year's Eve, we did a Northern Europe cruise where we docked in Hamburg for New Year's Eve. Spectacular fireworks, thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, we didn't have the best time due to the location and position of our cabin, but that's another story. However, the one thing that they did during the evening meal in the main dining room was they scraped butter onto my side plate, and there was no butter dish. And I know it sounds picky, I know it sounds awful, but it was just one of them things that just really did wind me up. And but then equally, we sailed with the same cruise line a few weeks later, and we didn't have that problem, and we'd never had that problem on that cruise line before. So it's just little things that I suppose you can go on one cruise line, have a great experience, go on one ship, have a great experience, go on another ship from the same cruise line, and it can just be slightly different. But yeah, just I suppose perhaps we are that picky, Tom.
Yeah.
About you, Dom?
You are, Dom. I like it where you
just me, blame me.
The only thing that we don't normally like that I'd say is far less picky is we like to have a late night snack. So the bigger selection of late night snacks, the better for us.
Yeah, I do. I've got, after enjoying yourselves during an evening, I find nothing. I find so much joy in just being able to head up to the buffet for a little late night snack. There's nothing more I enjoy it. Thoroughly enjoy it. So yeah, no late night snacks, and if it's closed, I'm not very happy.
and that's the first thing you miss when you come home too. It's like getting late at night, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't have a buffet anymore.
No. The problem is, as soon as we get back off a cruise, it's like, okay, back on the diet.
Salad. Steve actually had snow. Oh, on a Christmas cruise of all things. Wow.
Perfect timing. That would be magical, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Christmas cruise and snow. Hopefully the ship was fully decked out. So yeah, it would have been fantastic.
Beautiful.
That would have been absolutely magical. Thank you for sharing, Stephen. That is incredible. Wow, guys, we've been talking almost 55 minutes already.
Where
does the time go?
Yeah. So I want to get through a couple of my other questions though before we go. And I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And I'm going to remind everybody, please follow, like, share us here at Where's Walter Travel. And then be sure, let me get that banner back up there. Be sure to subscribe to Tom and Dom.
It's very kind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Especially if you're heading to Europe. All right, these guys have Europe covered. We're going to get them over here to the States one of these days. I already know. I want to take you guys on Margaritaville at Sea. I'm going on in June. So I can already tell I want to take you guys on there.
Got their second ship coming soon, haven't they? Is it their second ship that's on the way?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting story. Just very briefly, they had a horrible launch because they trusted their partner. So they bought out the company, fired everybody. Now they're bringing the ships up to Margaritaville resort standards, which are actually lovely resorts. And the Islander is actually a Costa ship.
Ah,
okay.
So she's coming out in June. We're going to be on the Friends and Family event June 11th to go experience that ship with them and go see what it's all about. I can already tell. I want to get you on.
Forward to seeing what that's like.
Yeah. So we were talking about some of your, well, I don't know if we did. Did we talk about what is your favorite cruise so far and why?
Well, we have already mentioned the destination. Our favorite cruise wasn't the cruise we did to Greenland, just because we've never been anywhere like that. The culture was completely different. The scenery, to watch icebergs in a good way sail past your ship was something spectacular. We would 100% recommend doing that. And then we took an excursion to get right up close in a rib boat, right up close to the icebergs, and it was one of the most beautiful things we've ever done. It is absolutely spectacular.
Wow.
The remoteness of these locations that we visited in Greenland, it was just unbelievable. I don't know, you know, there are no roads connecting these settlements.
Wow.
In Greenland, you either have to fly or sail. So pretty much they're very insular in terms of their communities, but they were so friendly, they were so nice, and just walking around the town, getting to experience how these people actually live was just incredible. Because I think we take, you know, I suppose, westernized society a little bit for granted. We just expect everything to be there when we want it. And, you know, if they can't get a delivery in, because the weather is bad, then pretty much that supermarket, which is the central hub of the town, of the settlement, is empty. You know, there's no backups, there's no redos. And just having to, I suppose, living like that was incredible. They were so friendly.
And Kathy obviously loved your vlogs there from Iceland and Greenland. She's going this summer on biking, another excellent cruise line.
Wonderful. And hopefully, as part of that cruise, you're going through Prince Christian Sound, which is the most spectacular for fjord type thing. You can go through. The water is the most beautiful color blue, and then you pass glacier after glacier after glacier. It's a fantastic place.
And it's so narrow. You really do. When you're stood there at the front of the ship and you're just looking out, it feels as if you can just put your arms out either side and just touch either side of the fjord. It's picturesque, beautiful location.
Wow. And Eric has a great question. His cruises are usually too short. He's doing a 27-day back-to-back. I tell you, Eric, is so much fun. Hey, will he ever get tired being on a ship? But what is your longest so far?
If we could do a 27-day cruise, we would love to. But our longest so far has been 16 nights. 16 so I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I think the hardest part of cruising is getting off.
Absolutely.
I could quite happily stay on. But I've never finished a cruise thinking, I'm ready to go home now. I could quite easily stay on a little bit longer.
I think it's incredibly rude of them to kick us out of our cabin when we're having such a good time.
Yes,
absolutely.
Especially at 8 o'clock in the morning.
It's like, hello, we're having a good time. How dare you? How dare you? So we're getting toward the end here. So I think we should wrap it up with food, because, you know, we all like food so much. How about your best meal at sea so far?
Oh, it's a tricky one.
So many to choose from.
Well, there is. The great thing about cruising is the fact that you do have just so much choice. Go on then.
You notice I said so far because you're still, you know.
We're going to continue.
So far, what do you think is the best meal you've had? Like absolute best.
I've had to think about this now, and I think perhaps one of the Indian restaurants we've had food in, and because Indian food, a lot of the British cruise lines do have an Indian restaurant on board. So we had Indian food in Sindhu on P&O and on Saffron and Ambassador. Both of those were very, very good. So hard tie up between the two. But me and Dom are big fans of Indian food, so we really, really enjoyed those.
Yeah.
I suppose one of my standout favorites, I am, I suppose, an advocate for Princess pasta. I think it's some of the best pasta at sea. And I've never had a bad meal in Sabatini's. I've always enjoyed the pasta dishes. Oh, well, throughout Princess, really, the little pasta.
You like the pasta?
I do love the pasta Princess. And yeah, so it's got to be, I suppose, Sabatini's. I do thoroughly enjoy it. However, at Christmas, we did do a P&O cruise, and we went to the beach house, which is a little bit, what do they, southern fried Jamaican type, Caribbean inspired speciality on board. Oh, don't worry, I didn't have anything too exciting. I went for their 10-ounce fillet steak that came on a little salt rock that you cooked yourself. And, you know, if you'd seen the videos, I was jumping for joy. I was just so excited. It was delicious.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just an
Wow.
incredibly good value. I think it cost around about $25 well, $20. It was incredible
Wow.
value. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I definitely have again.
Wow. So I'm probably going to.
So
Yeah, I'm probably going to surprise you guys.
Sorry.
We've been on 10 different cruise lines. My absolute best meal so far could be land and sea. Remy on the Disney Fantasy.
oh,
Unbelievable experience. So when you go on Disney, you're going to have to try if you're on a ship that has it. Oh my goodness gracious. Amazing.
how did you? Are you a big Disney fan, Walter?
Oh, huge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because Tom's a massive Disney fan.
I would love a Disney cruise. Dom's to be convinced.
So you guys have a place to stay. We're 40 minutes away from the parks. We're annual pass holders. So y'all come on over here to Orlando for a week. Our good friend is a Disney animator. She does a lot of the work in the parks.
Wow.
So yeah, we can take you to go see her, go watch her work and all that. So you guys have a standing invitation. You're welcome in our house anytime. Anybody else watching this? No, but Tom and Dom, yes, you guys can talk.
Yeah, everybody.
Eric is going to guide us around Vegas. We've got Walter in the park and all that.
We should have done this soon.
But you know, anybody watching this, Disney is an excellent adults-only cruise line. I mean, if you're just going on as adults, it is a fabulous cruise line for adults only because you will feel like a kid. And they have they have some of the best service, some of the best food at sea of all the cruise lines out there. We really do. Okay.
I'm sold.
On the to-do list.
So now we talked about the best meal at sea. Okay, so what do we all love to eat bad when we're on a ship, right? You just talked about that buffet with the late night snack. So what is your favorite or best guilty pleasure so far on a ship?
Oh, guilty pleasure, gone.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Princess cheesy fries with bacon. No contest. No contest. No contest.
They are good.
Every single night.
Yeah. Would you like that?
I did. I loved it. Yeah.
Oh my God, those are good.
Right.
Tom, you as well?
Okay.
Afternoon tea. I love a good afternoon tea. So all the cakes, the scones, the jam,
Fresh sausage roll.
Mm-hmm.
the cream, everything that comes with afternoon tea. I love that, and I'm looking forward to a Cunard afternoon tea because I think they do it the best. So
Nice.
very much looking forward to that.
Very traditional harpist playing. They come round with the china and white glove service with the finger sandwiches and the cakes.
Nice.
Yeah, Cunard afternoon tea is a treat. And it's included in your cruise fare.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we're doing an Alaska cruise in June of 2025, and we actually have 12 hours in Victoria, British Columbia. And they have a hotel there. I can't remember, I'm blanking on the name, that has a very famous afternoon tea. So Rebecca is so excited about this one.
Go for it. Yeah.
My guilty pleasure right now is on the Carnival ships. It is Shaq's Big Chicken.
Wow.
They are dangerous.
Apparently it's amazing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they are the best. And I've lived in the South where we have a restaurant chain called Chick-fil-A that's like famous for their chicken sandwiches, and Shaq Chicken blows them away. So that's my guilty pleasure.
No. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so now
Must do Carnival now.
Let's do Carnival.
I just got to get you guys over here sometime. You know, come on over. I'll help you out. You know, when you're ready to come on over, definitely let's just chat, and I'll help you guys figure out where all you got to go and what ships you got to go on.
I appreciate that. Thank you ever so much.
Yeah, we absolutely will.
And I'll be calling you because we're starting to think about coming over there, maybe putting together a group and all that. So I'll reach out to you guys.
Please do. Please do.
Absolutely. So I can't believe we've already talked in fact, we've gone over an hour. How about that?
Oh, we've enjoyed it. Thank you ever so much for having us.
That
Walter.
time
Really
flew by.
Well, we appreciate it. It's one of the things that I do love about this community is that, we've never actually physically met, but we've really gotten to know each other through our shared love of cruising, shared love of food, I really appreciate everything you guys do. Like you saw Betty and some folks and Kathy already talking about it. You actually, as a travel advisor, you really help us because we can refer people and say, oh, well, you know, go watch, you know, Tom and Dom. They've been there, and we appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, any way we can help you, we are happy to help at any time.
That is so awesome. So folks, everybody, thank you. I'm going to put it up on the screen one more time. Thank you so much for joining us today on this special Saturday. Normally we're live 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sundays on YouTube and TikTok, but I'm going to be, speaking of MSC, I'm going to be on the MSC Seashore all day tomorrow getting a ship tour. So that's why we decided to do this Saturday. So I appreciate you two taking your time. I appreciate everybody taking their time to join us on this special day. I hope any last words you want to give to our audience?
Thank you very much for everyone for watching. We very much appreciate it. And thank you, Walter.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, wherever you are in this amazing world, I hope you all have an awesome day. I'll be back on Thursday night with a guest, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then a week from Sunday, we'll be back at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So thank you so much for your support. Have an amazing day, everybody. See ya.
Bye-bye.